What up, what up, what up, what up? What's righteous world? It's that smooth, spitting, fast talking host with the most. It's only right. And this is Write Your Own History TV. Tonight we got special guest Brooklyn Zone, one of East New York's finest, Notes 82. Before we go any further, first I want to thank the Most High for this moment in time and allowing us to be great. Also I want to shout out WAP Tour Music, Cuzzo FM Radio, the Tattoo Shop Radio, and Double LR Radio for broadcasting Write Your Own History TV on their platforms. I appreciate your exposure. Again, like I said, we're going to get into it at our Brooklyn Zone, one of East New York's finest, Notes 82 in the building. We're going to tap into him, get into his new project, Watch the View 2, talk to him about hip-hop. You know, this is hip-hop's 50th year, so we're going to chop it up. Shout out to everybody tuned in, share the video. I see Notes in the building. Shout out to the Alien Nation. Shout out to everybody tuned in, share the video. We're going to chop it up. Before I get started, I'm going to shout out the New York Knicks. We up 3-1. It's a beautiful day in New York today. You know what it is. It's what I'm not going to get too excited, but I'm a true New Yorker, so let's go Knicks. The Warriors won yesterday. It was a beautiful game. The NBA playoffs are here. A bunch of great games on. It's 2 games on tonight. But just wanted to tap into that. I love my sports. So shout out to everybody, all the Knicks fans out there. Be up 3-1. Notes 82, whenever you're ready, we can tap in, get in tune with it, chop it up. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Shout out to everybody locked in. You could be anywhere in the world today, but you're here with me. So we're going to chop it up, have a good time. Get your drink on, get your smoke on, roll up, spark up, pull up, do what you got to do, get comfortable. And vibe out, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to just chill, get into it, talk about the good talking. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to hip-hop, the 50th year. You know, I got my Brooklyn on. Had to tap into my Brooklyn, vibing out my Brooklyn bro tonight. We gonna chop it up and have a good time. I'm drinking on some kind of vodka. I don't even know.
What's good, my guy?
Family?
What's good, right?
I'm good, man. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm just living, man.
I
All praises
appreciate you.
all praises to the Most High, man.
Of course. First off, again, I want to thank you for taking the time out, chop it up with us on this platform. Shout out to you. And I want to give you a public apology because I know you sent me a beat like 4 years ago. I know I sent you the reference verse, and we were supposed to go forward with it, but that was on me. I had a bunch of things going on. No excuse. But just want to give an apology so we could talk about that behind the scenes. But
yeah,
again, thank you for being on this platform. I appreciate you taking the time out. Everybody, this is Notes 82 right here, Brooklyn, one of Brooklyn's finest, East New York. Before we get into chopping it up with your music and this is hip hop 50th anniversary, I want to talk to you about some hip hop things. I really want to chop it up about hip hop. We're gonna get into the Watch the View and a few of the tracks, but we're just gonna chop it up about hip hop being it's the 50th and you know, I look at you as one of hip hop, a connoisseur, kind of you're around, you're very knowledgeable about the culture. We don't talk every day, but I watch you and I pay attention and I see what you're doing and I like how you're moving. So we're gonna chop it up about that. But before we get into that, I want to just give your accolades out because correct me if I'm wrong too, because I'll be studying, I'll be watching. Since I met you in 2019, say 2020. 4 albums, 18 singles, 4 EPs, a host of features.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing, I just want to shout that out because I just want to show you consistency, which we're going to tap into also.
Yeah.
We also going to tap into your influences because I was interested that you had Smokey Robinson, the Commodores, Anita Baker, Marvin Gaye. Because I know. And you were around my age, so I know growing up, our parents always had that blaring in the background and things of that nature. So, which leads to my first kind of question or the beginning of my dialogue. I want to know, being that they influenced your music. I want to know how did that, being that you're a rapper and you're an MC and you very I assume you're meticulous with your beat choices, but just by listening to your music and your projects, I would assume you go about picking beats a certain way. I just wanted to know because usually when you hear influences, you don't really hear Anita Baker, Smokey, especially with a lot of rappers.
Yeah.
Not saying they don't influence them, but that's not their first few choices. You don't hear Anita Baker,
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson, Marvin Gaye, the Commodore. So being that that's what that influenced you, how does that play into your sound, your sound, your beat choices, your beat choices, and how does it play into how you want the music to sound as far as sonically, the sound you're looking for? How does that influence you as an MC?
So for me, I'm going to start out and say, for me, I want to say my mother is kind of like my influences, and my father too as well, with those that old school good music. So
Mm.
for me, it was more or less like Saturday mornings. You know this, man. You get
Uh-huh.
up, mama cooks some breakfast, you dancing, you having a good old time. So those records, I remember those from when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
her playing Anita Baker, and my father saying that the Commodores was his favorite group of all time. So those were the early years. And I'm not afraid of telling my story. Like, for me, my mother and father, they started out, they got together. He came from the South. She was from Brooklyn. She was in Brevoort Projects. She grew up in Brevoort Projects.
Mm.
And basically, when they first met, it was kind of like, love at first sight. But they were going out. They were going to the clubs. That's when you can go to the club, the disco, and have a good time, and a whole bunch of
Mm-hmm.
other stuff. And that was like they call it backsliding, when you were in the church. But my father, got saved. My mother still was out there a little bit. But that influenced it as well. So my sound, when I say Anita Baker, people got to understand Anita Baker, church too. She has a church background and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, just to hear sonically how they put those beats together and those songs together, and they wrote that realness, the realness of it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I feel like when I write music. I'm not going to give you something fictional. I'm going to always give you the real, because,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I didn't grow up a street kid, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
homies that were in the
Mm-hmm.
street, especially in East New York. That was the influences, but my homies never influenced me to say, hey, you got to go out there and do what you got to do. Yo, you should just stick to doing what you're doing. And that's how it always been for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been from a bird's eye view. So sonically, the Commodores, the Temptations, and all those people, that stuff inspired me, and it still inspired me to this day. If I get in my car, I can't go one day without listening to some Temptations or Anita Baker. It's in my playlist,
Yeah.
man. It's just in my playlist. So I was introduced to that first before I was introduced to hip hop. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, my introduction to hip hop was my brother. He's 5 years older than me. So, experiencing that Wu-Tang and the
Mm.
Rakims, that was secondary to me. That was
Yeah.
something that I fell in love with hip hop as soon as I heard hip hop, I fell in love with it, man. Same thing like with R&B and stuff. I fell in love with it when I heard it.
Quick question, King, because I remember growing up and hearing those songs, and when I remember the first song I heard, that I was like, yo, this is what was the first song, if you could remember, I was like, yo, nah, this hip hop, this is not even, I don't want to say this made you think what you want to do, because it was young, but what made you like, yo, I'm in love with hip hop, like this that thing right there.
I'm gonna say, really fell in love with it because I didn't fall in love with it at first sight. It was kind of like, what is this? Is kind of different. It's kind of new from the music that I'm
Mm.
used to with Anita Baker and all of them. But I think that 36 Chambers, man,
Mm.
Wu-Tang, that, because everybody looks at it as like, yo, you had to be rugged, you had to be in the street. And I'm like, nah, these dudes is just giving you their story. And they didn't
Yeah.
care. If you look at Wu-Tang when
Hmm.
they first came out, they're just now dressing where you had Ray and them dressing with the
That's
polos,
true.
and they had the chains, and them dudes was grimy.
It
They was
was good.
gritty. They was
Uh-huh.
gully. So at the end of the day, for me, it wasn't something that I always said to myself, I want to be my own man. And I can respect anybody that wants to be their own man, whether you doing stuff illegal, whether you doing stuff
Hmm.
legal. If you can sit there and say, I can do this, and not compensate and say, hey, I don't want to be real about it, I'm gonna be fake about it. Now you got to go all the way with it, man. And that's how I am.
Yeah.
I go all the way with everything that I do. So I think hearing those that early Wu-Tang Clan, that
Mm.
early Nas, the Illmatic, the Reasonable Doubt, these are things that inspire me because I had people in the neighborhood I grew up with that was like doing what Jay and them was doing, was doing what Nas and them was doing. You understand what I'm saying? So I respected them because the lifestyle that they lived it and said, this is what I want to do. So my father always told me, if you're going to do something, whether you're going to be a good kid, you're going to be a bad kid, you better go all the way with it, 100% of the way. And here's the thing, and be conscious of the decisions that you make, because once you make those decisions in the street, hey man, you can't go back on your word. You can't say, man, this one did this. Nah, it's all about you. It's a man's game. So once it's a man's game out there, you got to understand, you got to play by the man's rules. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, you ain't never lie. I like the jewel you just dropped. There's something you said earlier about, being okay. It's okay that we're not if you're not in the streets, you're not in the street.
Yeah.
I think it's a misconception, especially in our neighborhoods, especially when you want to be a rapper.
Yeah.
For some reason, that genre of music, for some reason, you gotta have some kind of machismo. Oh, I gotta be tough, or I gotta be this, or I gotta be that.
Yeah.
And it's such a misconception because it's the wrong way of thinking. It's a backwards way of thinking because you don't have to be anything but yourself. But the way it's portrayed in our neighborhoods, like if you ain't tough, you a sucker. Or if you go to school every day, if you got a job, you soft. If you ain't slinging, you ain't hanging outside, you soft. And it's such a false reality that we follow because especially as men.
Yeah.
I know what happens to females too, but being that I'm a male, and as men, we already feel we gotta be that extra just because of our environment. We can't let nobody think we soft, or we can't let nobody think we. So then add that to I want to be an artist. Now I gotta be extra because now, in order to be seen a certain way or get a certain kind of respect in that industry, I gotta come off tough, or I gotta shoot somebody, or I gotta be in jail, or I gotta talk about jail. So I'm glad that you said that, especially being older. Not old, but being a little older than a 19, 20. Because I was just thinking, my little brother was 22. He raps.
Yeah.
I was telling him, you don't gotta be, you're not in the streets. And it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. Talk about the life you live. It's all about how you do it.
Yeah.
It may sound plain to you, but it's someone that going through the same thing you're going through and needs a voice for them. But you don't hear it, and you don't want to rap about it because it's not what you see.
Yeah.
It's not what's being promoted. It's not what is being talked about. So it's good to hear when someone like yourself is confident, like, I didn't grow up in the streets. I know people like that, but I didn't grow up in the streets. It wasn't my thing. And I can say the same thing because my friends are like, yo, to this day, my friends tell me, yo, you Tucker, you smart. You scared of your moms. Hell yeah. I did my shit, but if my mom found out a certain man, I was scared to death. To this day.
Yo.
To this day, I move a certain way. Like, nah, I can't let my mom find out about me. You crazy?
Let me tell you something, man. It came from three ways. You know what I mean? So I had my brother, I had my mother. So you get your ass whooped, but then, my father gonna whip your ass too. So you gotta think about the consequences and think about it like this. My pops was, smaller than me. As I was getting grown, he still whip your ass. My mother, she's straight vet style. Like, she ain't playing with you. You don't disrespect me. And then think about my brother. My brother, I'm kind of, a husky dude, but my brother was bigger than me. 6'1". He was about 250, 300. He gonna eat you alive. So, and my thing with him is we share the same room. So it's like, nah, man, I ain't even trying to go.
You ain't getting no rest. Ain't no rest for you at all.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, that's why I tell people, like, be who you are, man. Stop being afraid to be who you are. And you know what's so funny? A lot of people's lives are cut short because they're trying to live everybody else's life. Live your life. Your journey is your journey. Your journey is your journey. Well, I'm gonna try to impress God. God already knows He already knows your story.
And that's the thing. You said you hit it on the nose. Is be yourself. And that, to me, I ain't gonna lie. I think I'm so happy that I didn't grow up in the social media era because I know what it is to have real fun, to actually be outside and interact with people and actually know someone's mother and have a friend like your mom's like, yo, don't hang out with him, and you still hang out with him because that was the coolest one. That was one of your coolest friends, the one that your mother hated. So it's like people are so caught up in trying to, like you said, be someone else and catch up with the Joneses, or be someone and not, and dress like someone else, or talk like someone's just talking, or live a certain life, and they're losing their own life, whether it's by jail or whether it's they getting shot or getting caught up in certain things because they in the wrong place they shouldn't be. And I think I don't want to up, but I just think because I think about this because I have
Yeah.
two sons,
Yeah.
and it's like, one is about to be
Hmm.
17, so I think about like, dang, and all you can do is like our parents did, raise your kid the best and hope that whatever you taught him, he takes it out into the world and he applies those lessons. You know what I'm saying? So I
Hmm.
always think like that. I hope. I'm hope I'm doing my job. I hope I'm teaching him the right way because, like you said, you could be doing nothing. You could be going to basketball practice and the shit come to you. And it's like you gotta prepare for all of that. And he's a ball player. He's not even living the life. But imagine, you know what I'm saying? For those that's
Yeah.
pretending, you're
Hmm.
bringing something to you that shouldn't have to be. And again, it goes back to me being scared of my mom's. I didn't want to. When the whole Crip and Blood came to New York, that was a
Yeah,
big
it
thing back then. I was
definitely
my whole
was.
my whole my whole block. Yo, we gonna do this. And I'm wait, yo, my block. I said, hold on, two things. Why am I doing this? And then if I'm not going in 100%, I'm not gonna do it because I gotta worry about my mom's. I gotta worry about my mom's live here.
Hmm.
She gonna get into some serious because now I'm out there doing dirt, my brother. So
Yeah.
with certain things, I was like, I thought about ahead, and I think because we didn't have social media, we actually understood. OG spoke to us.
Yep.
The hood, the whole neighborhood looked out for you. Like I even had this one guy tell my mom every day he was outside. It was a village, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy that you kind of touched on just being yourself and not
Yeah.
being afraid to
Hmm.
to be who you are. If you're a 9 to 5 worker, be a 9 to 5 worker. It don't mean you soft. It don't mean you gonna fuck somebody up.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you what it's easy. It means you're smart. That's what it means. Like basically.
Exactly,
And here's the
because you
thing.
understand this. The streets is a myth.
And here's my thing about the whole thing too. Like I watch you too. Like you're an entrepreneur. It's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur. You know
Mm-hmm.
why? Because everything don't fit for everybody. You might not can do a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? I may not
Exactly.
can do a 9 to 5, but at the end of the day, you got to do it to the best of your ability. People, here's the thing. What I mean by be yourself is you miss your blessing when you not being yourself. You're gonna miss that blessing.
Amen.
You're gonna
Amen.
you know why? Because you're worrying about what everybody else is doing instead of worrying about what you're doing.
And we get caught up so easily because of, again, we think we're missing something because it's so instant to watch someone else live their life. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get caught up in that because that's a whole nother interview
yeah.
talking about
That
how
that definitely is.
that's a whole other topic. But I want to get into it's hip hop. Before we get into the whole hip hop 50th anniversary and the culture, and I want to break it down a few moments in hip hop that I know you can relate to, and I want to see how it changed you as an artist. I
Hmm.
want to talk about before we get into Watch the View. I was listening to the Shining
Hmm.
Star featuring Stephanie Moore, I think, and it was something at the end that made me feel so. It gave me chills, and it was a nostalgic moment.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it was you talking or someone talking, just talking about the tunnel and DJ
Yeah,
Clues
yeah.
and the cutback to see and then that era. And I was like, damn, yo, I was like, I think this generation don't even understand the appreciation we had for going to the bootleg spot and hoping you find the mixtape, or hoping you find an instrumental, or hoping you find a new clue
Yeah,
or the new cut master C because you want to hear the new 50, or you think Biggie might have dropped the freestyle, or Jay-Z. You like, oh, Jay-Z dropped the free because these things were rare. So
yeah.
and I'm getting chills just talking about it because it was such a moment, and I brought it up because I'm like, yo, damn. What made you put that there? At the end of that song, because the song is like it gives a hip hop feel, like you kind
Yeah,
of reminiscing, but at the same time giving props to that time.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, what made you put that specific thing at the end?
So for me, Shining Star was so obviously Jay-Z is definitely one of my favorite rappers of all time. I'm gonna say it now. Yeah, I mean it's not a New York. Everybody goes, it's a New York thing. Not really. It's just
Yeah.
he's in my top 5, right? So
Hmm.
Rockefeller Records at that time, like watching Rockefeller Records and seeing from where it grew from Reasonable Doubt all the way into once they started bringing everybody on, that was a move for me. That made me feel like I wanted to be a part of Rockefeller. But to answer your question, the whole thing where we're bringing up the tunnel and stuff. So I think you know Nico Tesla. So Nico Tesla, dope rapper as well. His wife is actually on the record. So
Okay.
we all came to the studio. She's the one singing on the record. Um, and how it came about was, which I see him joining now.
Yeah, I
How it
just
came about,
shout
yeah.
shout out to him.
So we was in the studio. So shout out to my guy Nico. So we was in the studio, and it was me, him, Exile. So I know you know Exile.
Shout out to Exile.
So we was in there with King Sage, my engineer, and basically I was like, man, something's missing with this record. Something missing. I think I need somebody to come in on this, to come in the beginning, talk about how they felt when Exile came on, and he just was like, yo, when you was on the bus and you had the CD player, yo, it's the truth. Everybody had that feeling when
Everybody.
you had that, and for a moment, you always felt like it don't matter if anybody else had a CD player. You had a CD player, you was the man back in
You
the
was
day.
the man.
You was the man. So when he said that, it made me feel like that was me going to school and listening to those Biggies and those, you know, Tribe Called Quest CDs and stuff like that. And then the tunnel thing came about when I was like, Nico, I just need you to say something that's going to be monumental at the end. And Nico came up with that, with talking about the tunnel. And what I want people to understand, what he said, and you know, being next. And that's when I heard that. I'm not going to lie to you, and I've never told him this, and I've always kept this, and it's always inspired me. That inspired me more to do more with music, because when he said that, I felt like, yeah, you are going to be up next. And think about it. Around that time when that record came out, that album came out, was 2020. We was going through so much with the pandemic, you know, and at the time when he said that, I needed that, because shout out to, you know, my brother, rest in power, Jason Bourne. We was going to do something. We was going to do something incredible, and I thought it was over once he was gone. And you know, it still hurts to this day. But once he was gone, I felt like I needed something. And Nico saying that kind of sparked it, and it kind of was like, if you really think about back from that time up until now, I've just been going, and that's how it has to be. Like, everybody, here's the thing, you don't have to do what everybody else does, and that's why I enjoy being myself. So for me, JB used to always tell me, yo, you crazy, you drop too much damn music, man. You always putting out music. And we used to always laugh about it, and I'd be like, yo, I do it for a reason. And then I think now, I wish he was here to see it, I think people are paying attention to that reason why I do it, because I love the culture so much. I love it, I really do.
You do, and that's a perfect segue to my next topic is your consistency and your whole Watch the View series and what brought that about, because you have been, like you said, since 2020. I met you around that 2019, 2020 time.
Yeah.
I think it was through Jason Bourne, the Brotherhood, the lawyers and labels, the whole that whole circle. I met you, a few of you good dudes through that circle. So being that, like you said, you've been dropping so consistent since then, like EPs, albums, singles. The whole Watch the View series stands out because that I just like, to me, I like the whole title, Watch the View.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And how you started dropping them. You just dropped one recently, part 2. You got some features, Ross and Chris Brown. 2 questions. What started the Watch the View like series? What was the point behind that? And as far as the features, what's the mindset on picking a feature, as far as whether it's a known artist, independent artist, whatever? What do you look for? You know, because sometimes it may not be, you know, the bars. It could be the personality. It could be, you know, the swagger. So I want people to understand, sometimes to pick up a feature or while you might get 50 features, it might not always be the lyrical ability. It might be the swag or your personality or something that you add to the song. So, you know, break that down for me if you don't mind.
Okay, so I'll take the first question with the Watch the View series. So with Watch the View 1, the album, when I put it out, which I believe in it, and look, it's not me just bragging, I believe it's a classic. I believe it's a classic album that everybody should go out and tap into. But for me, I was going to end it at that, because I felt like Watch the View was what it was. I'm going to leave it at that. And then I remembered going back in the day to the soul tapes that Fab dropped back in the day. And I just felt like, and I was like, and obviously me and Fab are in 2 different lanes. Don't get me wrong. Fab is on an incredible level, right? But I felt like we needed that type of music. It was like when Fab was dropping those soul tapes, everybody and their mama wanted to go get it. So that's the feeling that I wanted from everybody when it came to Watch the View 2, the EP series. So it came about because of the soul tape. but I really wanted to kind of wean away from the albums and kind of get people a little sample so they can be like, damn, don't you only drop 5 of them? You need to come on, you play it. Like, nah, I want you to wait. Y'all gonna wait for this music now, because I think I bust my ass to the point where I put out an album. I did this, I did that. And it kind of like, I'm keeping it real. It kind of was like, you know what? Let me kind of bag back a little bit. I am getting the traction that I want, but now I want to take it a little bit slower. I want to tap into a lot of mainstream things going on, some Billboard stuff. You know, I want to tap into that stuff and take my time, because I feel like I have the catalog now where I can do all of that. I can sit and say, okay, you know what? Let me see if I can send this package to this label. Let me see if I could do this. Let me see if I could do that. You know, so I think the EPs made it where if I break it up, I can give you phenomenal music throughout the entire year instead of just dropping it at one time. You know, so every quarter I can give you a volume. Every quarter I can, and Watch the View volume is probably going to stop at 5. Right now, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I'm caught into that mindset of the old Notes 82 where I'm like, yo, I got so much material I could drop a double album. But my boy who's on here now, Clef, that's my brother, he's like, yo, nah, you can't do that, man. You can't keep dropping all this music, man. So I'm gonna do the EP series, but I'm gonna take my time with it. And right now I'm actually in the phase of I still got that single out with Martin and Malcolm and me and Chris Crown shooting the video. And then so that's where it came from, really from the Fab. Now the feature thing, for me, when I first came on the scene, it was kind of like I didn't really do features like that because I wanted people to understand in your career, you got to get people to know you first before you can actually put a feature on anything that you got going on. Because if they don't know who you are and what you're about and your music, they're not going to see no growth. So when I do with features is this, I want people to see the maturity with an artist in me. So what I mean by, people might think that, oh, Notes, no, I know what Lane Notes gonna get. I know what Bag Notes gonna get, and he gonna do no justice, no peace. Nah, Notes can get in any. I can get in any bag I want to get into, but I let people. I let people. Sometimes when you do features, a lot of people feel like we're in competition. I don't want to do a feature with you if you think we're in competition. I'm just not doing it. If you think we're in competition, that's what we're here for. Don't even hit my line. Don't hit me. I'm not in competition with nobody. Why? Because you got your own lane and I got my own lane. So it's no competition there at all. So for me,
you just do you.
Yes. So for me, it's feeling. So it's all about the feeling. So if I get a beat and I listen to beats every day. People will tell you I probably write every day. But I could be at work and I'm still going to write something. In my mind, I may not write it down, but later on, I'm going to write it down. But for me, it's a feeling. So if I get a beat, just like when I sent you that beat, it's a feeling like, yo, Wright was sound crazy on this. You know what I'm saying? Or this person to sound crazy on it. So for me, it's the feeling, but also it's the being comfortable with an artist that's comfortable with their lane. So if you're comfortable with your lane, what I mean by that is, I know every artist or every person that's around me that does music, I know your lane. And people might say, what do you mean that he's up? No, what I'm saying is I know what pocket you like to be in. So what I'm doing is I want to get in your pocket instead of you getting in my lane. I want to get in your pocket to show you that I'm versatile, to show you that I'm just not in this boom back bucket that everybody wants to put me in. You know what I'm saying? So that's really it. It's just the feeling. It's the feeling. If I got a great relationship with you and I'm really in tune with your music, you'll see Notes 82 on a feature with you. Seriously.
That's, I like what you said about the response is that you pay attention, first of all. You pay attention. You don't just, because, a lot of times people do features or hit up people because they may be hot at the time. They may drop something or something. Their name may be buzzing at the time.
Yeah.
And not because of the things you just said. Nah, it's a feeling, or I know what lane they in, or I know. Because sometimes, just because the person has a name, it might not make sense for the actual song. You know what I'm saying? So you got the big name, but it didn't make sense.
Yes.
You could have got someone in that lane that actually made sense for the song, that would have made the song a bigger song. So I like that you're very methodical. But it's like I said earlier, I got that from just the beat selection and the features you have, and the type of songs you have them all. I the front. I know you're gonna sound crazy. Not really crazy, but when I heard Book Bag, I was kind of mad I wasn't on that. Not that, but I didn't even know you like that. That's the crazy thing. I didn't know you like that. But
when I heard them, I'm like, damn, I gotta did something. I like the hook where it was going, and everybody on the song brought something different. Busy B, Shay Boy. I'm like, damn, I could have did something on the song, but I didn't know you at that time, so I wasn't mad like, oh fuck. I was more like, damn, you know, as an artist, I'm like, damn, I could have, you know what I'm saying? I could have did
Not,
something on this, you know
but
what I
now
mean? But
when I think about it, you would make that record. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. I picked people that I know would shine on that exact record. You know,
mm,
I think the only person that really, I mean, he shined. I'm not gonna say he didn't shine on the record. Only person that really that originally wasn't gonna be on it was Chuck Platt, but he hit me up and was like, "Yo, I gotta get on this joint." And I'm a type of person where like, okay, if you want to get on it, let's go ahead and get on it. But we coming, we coming
yeah,
to knock people head off on this track. So not to say that Chuck don't, like Chuck does definitely, but I just didn't the vision. Like I told you, I got the vision. I didn't see him on it.
yeah,
But then when I
yeah,
heard the record and the record was put together, I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? I can see where this record is going and stuff like that.
yeah.
You know what I'm
It
saying? So
actually
yeah, it
it
actually
messed
meshed
well.
well. Yep.
It messed well. But yeah. So the view, I like the features. My favorite song, I want to get, no, I like the fact that you broke it
Mm-hmm.
down because I was listening to an interview from, I think, Russ, the artist Russ, and he had kind of said something similar. He said he wanted to drop a bunch, albums and albums, and he kind of realized like there's a short attention span these days, so people ain't really gonna listen to 10, 12 songs anymore like we did back in the
Yeah.
days. So I'm gonna drop a 3, 4, 5 songs or a song here
Mm-hmm.
because people are so in the microwave era right now. They want to hear it and get on to the next. So I like the fact that you're breaking it down and it's giving us time to accept it, digest it, and like, oh yo, what's the dessert? What's the next one?
Yeah.
Come on, though. Where's
Yeah.
the next one? So I think that's very strategic in what you're doing, and I hope people are paying attention.
Yeah.
Strategy, man. It ain't
Mm-hmm.
about. It's not all about just dropping the music. It's how you drop it, and it has to make sense.
Yes.
It has to make sense and to what the ultimate goal is. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
don't just release music. I mean, it's good to release it, but just to make sure it makes sense because it can. You don't want to become oversaturated
Yeah.
yourself as an artist.
You don't want to feel like here's what I'm saying. You can't eat all day.
Yeah,
Because you eat all day,
yeah.
you
You gotta
liable to
digest.
yeah,
You
you
gotta
gotta
digest
digest it.
sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta stop at some moment and just be like, all right, man, let me just kind of calm down and let you, and as much as people, here's the thing, you got a lot of people that'll come to you and say, yo, bro, when the next project coming out, don't let nobody pressure you to putting music out. You put music out when you want to put music out and when you know it's actually ready. You understand what I'm saying? Because me, I will sit with music for a while, and people be like, "Yo, Notes put out so many music. He can't say that. I can say that because I got a lot of music in the archives. So a lot of music that y'all heard over the years is stuff that I recorded and I just saved sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
See, yeah. I'm glad you said that because us as artists, sometimes, like you said, we be sitting on something for 2, 3, 4 years. It might be old to us, and then you be like, and you might hear it be like, oh, there it go,
Yeah,
there it go, and it's brand new again. Oh, it might be something. Oh, well, you might have to revise a few things. It's like, oh, no, that'll make sense right
yeah,
now. That was perfect. So,
yep.
like someone said, preparation is everything,
It
and
is.
because we're in a business where everything is fast paced and there's so many people trying to get in and you hear and it's not just one outlet to get music. It has to make sense. It has to have something has to be behind it. You know what I'm saying? It
Yes.
ain't like
Mm-hmm.
before you could just it was like we had 3 outlets where you could drop music and it's gonna be on one of these 3.
Yeah.
Nowadays music is everywhere. It's all over the place.
Yep.
It's so many apps and outlets that it's crazy. So I'm glad that you actually thought about it and strategically start putting out the whole View
Yeah.
series and things of that nature. Again, the consistency is crazy. You've
Mm-hmm.
been consistent since I've known you. You've been dropping and staying very aware of what's going on in the culture, which brings me to, it's the 50th anniversary in hip hop. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? We celebrating 50 years. I just want to build with you on that. Now, I want to go back to the Shining for one moment
Yeah.
because that ending part,
Mm-hmm.
and this leads into the whole culture. Like I said, it gave me that nostalgic feeling, but it brought me back to that time. I'm pretty sure you know it because I'm pretty sure you was glued to the radio. That time when when the whole Rockefeller was on Hot 97,
And they
and
went
and and
stupid.
and and I bring it up because to me I was 18. I was in Sullivan County Community College in my boy Pyro's dorm with the lights out. Me, him, our lesbian friend Pyro, Holly, our homie Phil, and we had 4 cups. We drinking, and we got Hot 97 on.
Mhm.
And I say that because to me it was a turning point for me as a up and coming MC, because it's like, yo, these dudes are on the best station in the world, killing it, and you hear he's only 17. He's, oh my goodness, and I was like, and that ending brought me to that feeling.
Yeah.
And I say I have
Yeah.
to say, when you heard
Mhm.
that, and please, people, comment if you're listening. Comment what was that feeling for you as a fan of hip hop? What did that do for you as an artist? What we know? What can you relive that feeling? And do you? This is a two-part question. Do you think that feeling can ever be relived going forward as far as
Oh,
hip hop? Because
of course.
we
Of
have a lot
course.
of people on the radio, but the feeling that had was like, yo,
Of course.
what the,
I just
so
I just
go
think
ahead.
I just think for me, it can happen again, right? But
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. It's a lot of deaf ears in this era. Back when we were
Mm.
coming up, the ear wasn't deaf. The ear was so in tune to listening. And I want to listen to see what he's going to say. And I'm going to listen to see what the next person that's freestyling Beans. I want to listen to
Mm.
what Bleak is saying. I want to listen to what Young Chris is saying. That feeling still can happen, but the culture has turned a little bit on deaf ears. Now, mind you,
Mm.
we still got some of the OGs here that pay attention to everything that we do. You still have
Yes.
that. Just because
Mm-hmm.
somebody doesn't comment on your stuff or nothing doesn't mean they're not watching. Everybody
Yeah.
is watching you. So when you get
Mm-hmm.
everybody watching you, you have to
Well said.
understand that and that's where it goes back to that saying, be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point it's going to work. You keep
Mm.
knocking enough, you're gonna knock the wall down. And
Fact.
I've been knocking and knocking and knocking for so many years, but guess what? I don't pay attention to the years. I pay attention to the knocks that I've been doing. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's not just that little chisel and that little hole. It's them become where it's like I'm about to break this whole wall down. And when I break it down, that opportunity, I will never let that opportunity go. Ever. Ever.
Mm.
So it could still happen. And here's the thing. You still got some youngins that rap
Yes.
they ass
Yes.
off, that raps their ass
Yes.
off.
Yes.
So let's not get it twisted that we putting these youngins all in the same box. No, because actually
Nah, it's some.
some of the stuff you think is whack is actually they're saying something, and they just want
That's
to be heard, just like we were coming up. We want to be heard.
yes. Yeah, like you said, it's the culture is on deaf ears now,
Mhm.
and it's doing, if it ain't spinning the block, or you talking about you got 50 chains on, it's going over your head. You made me think about, I forgot these. There's a few dudes that's on Instagram. It's like a group of them, and they be killing it on the rapping tip. Like they be freestyling, but it's like it's people be ad-libbing with them. I forgot some name, but
I know
they
you're
be,
talking about.
yeah, they be killing it though.
He had dreads.
Yes, yeah,
Who you
yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
I know who you talking about.
yeah, and they be, and he be talking the talk, like really breaking it down, and not talking about getting shot at or shooting at or spinning the block, and really be rapping.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the contra? Yeah. So, but like you said, it's still people out here that rap, man, and that do it, and I ain't gonna front. I've been looking for that feeling, that Rockefeller Hot 97 feeling,
And
and not to be inspired,
yeah, and you can do it. My bad.
just to be like, yes,
You can do it, right? You got to think about it. It doesn't have to be Hot 97, because now if you think about it, Hot 97 is watered down.
yeah,
105
there's
is
more,
watered down.
yeah,
So when you think about it, everything is money now. When hip hop started,
yeah,
it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about, even in
mm-hmm.
that time when we talking about Rockefeller was coming up there and they was killing, it still wasn't about the money. You understand what I'm saying? It was about the love. It was about the passion. So you got to do it. You got to be yourself, right? And you have a platform. You can do it.
Yeah,
You can
true.
use Instagram and say, yo, we going to rent out a freaking studio and we just going to go ham. We just going to have a cycle and we just going to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? You can get
Yeah,
that. You can get that feeling.
you make,
Because now
that's
it's got to
true.
be different from everybody else, because everybody is doing that. When we were coming up, we were the listeners. Think about that. We were the listeners.
Yeah,
And even though we were the listeners, some of us can do this. Like, I believe I could do this. I know you can do this when it comes to this music thing, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of people just need to stay on the sideline and be the listener instead of being
Yeah.
the person that actually wants to rap. So you
That's
really
a
got
fact.
it's really a fact. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't compromise that. I just let people know that, like, you need to really be sitting on the sideline instead of trying to do this. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. But see, like, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the curse to how open it is now. How, because it's so much outlets for anybody now. It's just like, oh, fuck it. It ain't like basketball where you just can't go to any park and then you be in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? You just can't go to a few. Now you can just turn on your phone, spit maybe one hot bar or a hot one, and all have 2 million views, and they're like, yo, he's the hottest shit in the world, and he's the next thing. So it's it's a thin line with it now, where I think even the people on the sideline are like, nah, I should be on the sideline, but why be on the sideline when I don't have to be? Like, why?
Yeah,
Now the coach is like, I want to play now. Like, why am I on the sideline?
like, you sitting on the bench, you ain't work out a day in your life, and now all of a sudden you want to get on court, think you gonna drop 40? Man, you're not dropping 40, bro. You might as well just sit on the bench. You're not dropping 40. That's not happening.
But
And look,
see, you know what's crazy? Imagine if you could buy points in the NBA. Like, you can, but imagine if you could literally, as a player, before I hit the game, I'm gonna go buy 50 points.
yeah.
So see how the game is now with the music. You know what I'm saying? You can buy. You know what? I'm gonna wake up today. I'm gonna buy like 2 million views. I'm gonna buy these plays, and then tomorrow, then by the end of the week, you the hottest thing in the world. You get some niggas is posting you. Yo, you got features with Mano and Kiss.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy LeBron's abilities. That can't happen, bro. You got to put the work in, bro.
Like, so the music is crazy how they did, the thing we love. They took it and just made it like, it made it with the money it altered the love.
Man,
Now you don't know.
the game is like the dollar store now, man. You can
Yeah.
find anything in there. You can find anything in the dollar store. The game is like Dollar
You
Tree,
can
boy.
definitely find anything in the dollar store now.
Yo, where you can find a drill rapper, go down that aisle. Where you
Yo,
can find a boom bap
dollar
rapper, go
store.
down that aisle. Like, come on, man.
Yo, that's real. You know what makes that so funny? Extra funny, because the other day I actually saw somebody in there with like a overfilled cart, and I'm like, yo, like, how you got an overfilled cart in
At
this?
Dollar Tree.
How much stuff can you get from this? Like, I'm like, nah. Yeah, I'm not knocking the dollar store. I shop there, but you can't get like certain things I ain't getting from the dollar
Bro,
store, man. Like,
I'm not buying no pack of
I'm
burgers
not
from
buying turkey bacon from the dollar store. Again, we're not knocking nobody that does that, because I understand. I've been in them shoes when I had to before. I'm just saying, it's funny. We just correlating that the music is everything is a go now.
Everything
Like,
is a
you know what's
go.
funny? And you're right. Somebody said it's 125 now. How the dollar store 125 now? With tax? Like, come on, son.
Like, you gotta think about it. It says dollar. If you $1.25, your store should be $1.25 on the.
Dollar 25 store.
You walk to the counter, she like $1.25. What? It says Dollar Tree on it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yo, shout out to everybody that go to Dollar Tree, because I do too. My bad. I go to Dollar Tree too.
Man. That was
My
good.
bad. That was a good laugh.
Oh man, but yeah. All right, back to again, back to again the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feeling. But I also want to ask
Yo,
sorry, y'all.
it's so
Was one of
good.
the good laughs. Sorry. Yeah. So in hip hop, what, being that you've been around for a while, a student of the game.
Mm-hmm.
This is another two-part question, and I want to shout out to Young and Informed, because they asked me this question. I was like, I want to do a whole segment around this question
Okay.
right here. The first part of this question.
Mm-hmm.
What made you fall in love with hip
Mm-hmm.
hop? Like, what moment, what song, what movie? Because we all have different things. Like, yo, that right there was my thing. And part two to that question is, what has hip hop taught you over the
Okay.
years?
So I'm gonna say the movie Juice. Like Juice was everything to me, man. It was fly. It was the way they dress, the Gumby, you know, the parts in their head. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Gumby.
Yeah, like, you know, the swag and let me tell you something about the 90s. Now that when I look back, I laugh at some of the stuff we wore. But you know, we did our thing in them things, them baggies.
What? The Fila
The
boots, the
fila
Grand
boots.
Hills, the Travel Fox, you know what I'm saying?
And you know what's crazy? The crazy part, I remember the 40 Below joints that Pac had on, right?
Yo, those are about ahead of his time back then.
And yo, I went into a store and I seen these and I was like, this is when I was living down south. I was like, I don't know nothing about this right here. Like, I'm not wearing this down here in this 90-degree. You tripping out your mind right now. Like, your socks is probably soggy right now for real. But it just was like, yo, like, I fell in love with that, man. It just made me fall in love with, because that's New York. That was New York. That was just how, when you seen things, and it's kind of like, it made you feel like when you chill with your boys, you wanted to be like Q and the crew. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to be like them. So at the end of the day, for me, that kind of was like, it just stamped it for me. Like seeing it in movies, like just to hear it in the headphones, it's like, yo, that's crazy. But it's really a vibe. It's really a culture. It's really a lifestyle that you can live in hip hop. And people was like, oh, you gotta be a gangster. No, everybody has their own lane. You can live this lifestyle of hip hop any way you want to live it. Anyway.
You want to live it. And that's the fun thing, because there's no rules to it. Which is like the good thing and almost the bad thing. You know what I mean? It's crazy like that. But I bring it back to Juice, though, that the scene when Q was bodying the turntables.
Exactly.
That was like that's one of the, but that's like a tunnel scene, like a you know what I'm saying, like a scene. If that's DJ Clue and he playing the newest record at that moment.
Exactly.
Those things are like, yo, it's the epitome of what hip hop is to us, and the culture and the jeans and the bamboo earrings and like you said, to see it in a movie was like, this is our culture and on screen, like, yo, I get to see it, like, yo, oh, I got that Walkman, I got them turntables, I'm about to get them turntables, and you actually relating to those things, and like you said, the 40 Belows when Pac had them, I was like, yo, what's those?
And they was
it's like, yo, hold on,
and they
what's
was all
those?
around it. Think about it. They were cutting school to do this stuff. So it's like people was like, yo, it's just chilling. No, it was just like a lifestyle of them. It's like what I need this school for. I'm getting taught. Hip hop is teaching me something right now. I need this hip hop. I need it in my system.
And it was beefing. And it was beefing with the dudes. A whole other thing, especially at that time when we in high school, junior high. That's what you going through. You got the other crew across the side of the lunchroom, and you got issues with them. And yo, I gotta watch that movie now, because it just brings back those times. Like, yo, and to think we were young, not really understanding how symbolic these things were, these movies were.
Exactly.
Like, you know, Juice, like, you know, whether it's the Boys in the Hood, the Juice, the what, it's so many, South Central, you know what I mean? Deuces.
And think about the pioneers that was on the soundtrack. Daddy Kane, Rakim, EPMD. Like, it just was like, that right there was the soundtrack to hip hop. The beginning of the 90s or mid 90s, whatever you want to call it. That was the soundtrack for it. That's how we felt in New York. We felt like how okay, Q felt. Oh yeah, Pac did wrong, but we also felt like how Pac felt on that side as well. Yeah, I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of people harassing me. I gotta do something about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how hip hop is, man. That's how I attack hip hop now. You want to doubt me? Go ahead and doubt me. I'm gonna be just like, no, not just like Bishop, because he was crazy. But I'm just saying, my mentality is, I want that mentality that he got. Whatever I want, I'm gonna get it by any means necessary. That's just how it rolls. But the influence, I think I answered the question. You said, what was that second part? What was the second question?
What has hip hop taught you, or what did you learn, from hip hop? And maybe the other question: how did you apply that? You know, how does it help you up to this point in life?
It's the same way. Like I tell people, never forget where you came from. So I never forget that. And I tell people, I'm not inspired by where I came from. You know why? Because I was supposed to be where I came from. So that's a jewel people got to understand. Never say I regret being where I don't regret that, because it made me the man I am today. Without growing up in the projects and growing up in East New
Right.
York and during the times it was tough in the 90s, that wouldn't, if I didn't do that, I don't think I'd be the man I am today. You understand what I'm saying? So going through, and I tell people sometimes, and wouldn't say I struggled. I didn't struggle. My parents, they did what they had to do to get me and my brother to where we got to get in life. But for me, I will never forget that. I will always be in debt to East New York, Brooklyn, forever. Because it made me the man that sculptured. It made me the man going through. And I tell people sometimes, your struggle, everybody has a struggle. Your struggle and your times when you felt like you was down, God made it that way. You know why? Because he wanted to see if you was going to break. Because God ain't going to break you. You can do that yourself. So for me, that's what hip hop has done for me. The culture, the lifestyle. Looking out my window and I could see hip hop from a mile away. I didn't have to be around KRS-One to see that. We had people in the building that was battling each other. I was in a couple of them ciphers in front of the building. So hip hop to me was an everyday thing. I seen it. If I was going to get on the train, I see people, you know, rapping, bebopping, people dancing, break dancing. You understand what I'm saying? So those are the times that I will never forget. That's what hip hop has done for me. It's given me a space to escape, not the reality, because you can't escape reality, but at some moment it gives you a moment of peace in your heart, knowing that, okay, yeah, I have a love for something that loves me back. And it's very rare that you have that. Like, I got my kids, I got my wife, I got my mother, I got my father, I got my brother, I got my family members that love me, and then I got other people who love me as well. You don't get that fully all around. Like, some people say they love you, but they don't. You understand what I'm saying? But hip hop has never shown me, has never cheated on me. And that's how I look at it. It's never cheated on me. It's given me everything that I can desire. Everything. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop is kind of like, if you really think about it, like the Most High. That's how I feel. He's never done anything to me that would hurt me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what hip hop has done for me. You know what I'm saying? It made me the man I am today. 40 years on this earth, and I can still say, you know, with all the stigmas that we had, and you know this, growing up in Brooklyn, in New York, and going up in the hood, and it's like, yo, you ain't gonna see it past 25. I'm 40, and I can sit here and say that today, these grades don't just come with nothing. It comes with the territory. You understand what I'm saying? So I've gotten to this point, and at the end of the day, I love hip hop. I will forever love hip hop, forever.
I appreciate that answer. That was a well thought out answer. I'm about to go to a whole nother talk. That's gonna take me to a whole nother situation. But because we got about 10 minutes left. But I want to first thank you for being you and being genuine. And not just, and I asked you to come on the show, not even to talk about your music, just to talk about what we was talking about, just to build with you and let people see who you are as a person and how you think and how you maneuver. Because sometimes we see that Instagram and on Facebook, and we tend to assume because people post a certain way or whatever they post, that's how they think, that's how they move. And sometimes it's a total opposite. You know, you have to dig deep with people, and that's why I asked you to come on this platform, because I wanted people to get to know who you are behind the music and how you think and your growth and your maturity and you know what you bring to this culture. And things of that nature. So I want to thank you for being you. I thank you for the jewels. I want you to just, you know, before we go, let people know where they can find you. Let people know what to look out for, what you got going on, and what's the legacy you want the people to, you know, you want Nose 82 to be remembered.
Sorry, answer that first, because that's, you pay attention. Definitely pay attention to what I got going on, and legacy is definitely what Notes 82 wants. I want to be remembered 50 years, 100 years from now. And it don't have to be on a mainstream tip, but I want somebody, or it could be 5 people, just to remember Notes 82 and the consistency that I bring and the messages that I bring when I drop music. So that's what my legacy is. My legacy will be cemented in he stayed consistent and he had love for the culture at all times. He never let up when it came to the culture. When it came down to the culture, I was a ride or die, no matter what.
Fact.
But and then I do my social handles at the end, but I'm gonna say this. So Watch the View 2, Volume 1 is out right now. So everybody that's here, go look me up. Notes 82, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you got. Go listen to Volume 1. I can't give you this next bit of information until you go listen to Volume 1 of Watch the View 2. And if you want to go back, if you want to start with Watch the View 1, go back, do Watch the View.
Yeah.
But Watch the View 2, the volume 1 is out right now.
I was
Watch the View.
say go back to Timeless. I'm sorry. Go back to Timeless. Go get familiar, man. Go, yeah, man.
Timeless is
please tap in.
You know what's so funny? I listened to Timeless the other day, and I said I love it, but I said I understand where I was then in life and where I'm at now, and I will I never forget about those past projects that I put out, because at every project that I put out, somebody has said it touched them in some type of way musically. And that's what I mean by my legacy. I want that to be cemented in people's mind and brain and say, Notes 82, he may not have been mainstream or whatever, but when he put on, he put on. So big announcement, Watch the View 2 EP series Volume 2 is dropping real soon. I was going to drop it in May, but I got a big announcement that Chris Crown and Notes 82, Martin and Malcolm, we're shooting a movie. We're going to shoot a great visual for that actual video, for that actual single. Right? You're invited. So once I get all the
send me all the. I was just about to say, let me know what I could do or all the info. Let me know.
So we're definitely gonna shoot that video. So I had to push it back. So I'm thinking like maybe June, August sometime. Watch the View 2 it's done, but it's just that, you know, when you got a blueprint behind you and you want to, you know, make sure that everybody is in tune with this first volume, then I'll drop it. So I'm thinking like June-ish, August sometime, July maybe. That is going to drop. But look forward to Notes 82 doing a lot of stuff. I got a couple of freestyles in the stash that I'm going to drop probably soon, just to stay consistent, just to keep the pen sharp and let people know that, you know, I still got bars, I still can rap. It's not always about a message sometimes. It's all about showing the technique and letting you guys know what I really do. And then my social handles, you can find me here, IG, Notes82_ on Facebook. You can find me at Notes82. You got to spell it out, NOTESEIGHTYTWO. That's on my regular Facebook, and then Notes82 on my Facebook artist page. Same thing on TikTok. You can find me Notes82. And then same thing on Twitter, Notes82 on everything. So, but I want to say this to you. So you keep doing what you're doing, my brother, because somebody is watching. And here's the thing: if somebody ain't watching, if nobody's watching, the one person that matters is the Most High. You understand what I'm saying?
That's it.
So you got to keep doing what you're doing. I've been watching you. I've been watching you do what you do, and I applaud you for everything that you do for the culture, because everybody plays a part in the culture. Everybody. So you know, I salute you for having me on this platform and just letting me speak. And like you said, I love these type of conversations sometimes, because it's never sometimes always about the music sometimes. Sometimes it's just about building with somebody and actually letting the people get to know who you actually are. So for me, it's a pleasure for me, because I know people who back me, and I know people who really pay attention to what I got going on. So for me, it's a blessing. Today I've gained a brother. That's how I look at it. So it can't just be here. It has to be on another type of level as well too. So, you know, soon as we get off of here, if you want to, you know, DM me your number, I'll DM you my number. That's how we gonna do it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people just leave it at this social media stuff, and it's not that all the time.
Bet, man, you said it all. Yeah, I ain't gotta say no more. Like again, I say it every week, and I hate to sound like a preacher, but this is not me. God gives me the gift. I just go live, and I have a platform. It ain't got 2 million followers, but like you said, it got 1 or 2 that could change our life, and the ultimate follower was the Most High. So I just felt we needed something for us, and I'm just giving the people that I know that's doing what they do in a positive way and growing. the platform and a place to tell their story. You
Yeah.
know, that's all. And give them, it's about giving
Yeah.
them their flowers, man. So like I
Yeah.
said, that's what I do. So I just thank you again. I appreciate you and for everything and just being again, just being yourself, man. Because it's sometimes it's a lost form
Yes.
as far as being a man.
Yeah.
Not even being a rapper or an artist, just being a man and being a human. We so scared to be ourselves. So
Yeah.
thank you for being yourself and just dropping jewels that you don't have to be in the street. Shout out my man James on checking. You don't have to be in the street. You don't have to be a killer to be a rapper or to be a
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? Remember that. You don't have to be none of that to be a man. You're a man before you anything. Before you a gangster or a killer, you a man first. So be that first. Decide to be that first before you decide to be anything else.
Exactly.
Be yourself, man.
Yeah.
Notes, I appreciate you, and I want to say what I say to everybody, man. Continue to write your own history notes, man. You know what it is, man. You've been doing it. Continue to be a great example for what it is to be yourself and a positive pillar in this hip hop community, man. I appreciate you, and we get. Again, everybody follow notes. Look out for him. Stay in tune with him, and I will DM you my map after this, brother, man. I appreciate you. You have a great night, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you didn't, the Most High did. We don't care
Exactly.
anyway.
Peace, King.
Peace to you, brother, man.
All right.
Salute. Yes, yes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That was Notes 82, good brother from Brooklyn, doing this thing, consistent music, fatherhood, just being a genuine person. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Shout out to Johnny Floyd. Shout out to Certified Nation. Shout out to Samantha, City, James. Everybody that tuned in, forgot your name. Shout out to the whole Alien Nation. Shout out to everybody that shared the video, commented, and stayed in tune for the whole interview. Again, shout out to Notes 82. You know my motto, man. Turn your hurdle to a hustle. Turn that obstacle into an opportunity. Impossible is only 10 letters. Write your own history or someone will write it for you. Don't just be active, be productive. Don't just change, improve. It's your boy. It's only gone.